Dillon Danis getting involved in yet another brawl isn't surprising, but what happened at UFC 322 still managed to shock everyone. The chaos that erupted didn't just look wild, it felt completely unreal. What began as a bit of shouting and shoving exploded into a full-scale brawl that instantly reminded fans of the infamous UFC 229 chaos. Every time security managed to pull one group apart, another fight erupted just a few steps away. Felt like trouble was breaking out from every direction. Denis wasn't just arguing. He was swinging at multiple Dagestani fighters at once, including Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov and even Jana Nick, who jumped in when things got heated. Within seconds, the crowd section turned into a blur of yelling, pushing, and wild punches. And somehow, right in the middle of all this mayhem, Danis ended up standing there barefoot, holding his shoes like he just stumbled out of a bar fight gone completely wrong. It quickly became clear this wasn't just some random scuffle. This was another chapter in the long-running rivalry between Conor McGregor's camp and Khabib Nurmagomedov team. That tension never truly disappeared. It just waits for the right moment to erupt again. Whenever these two groups cross paths, chaos is almost guaranteed. No matter how many years go by, the bad blood still runs deep. And UFC 322 was the latest reminder of just how real that rivalry still is. Once things finally settled and everyone was either escorted out or back in their seats, the drama moved backstage to the post-fight press conference. Dana White didn't hesitate to address it. He explained that before the main card even started, UFC staff told him that Denis was in the arena but not sitting in his assigned seat. Security asked whether they should remove him, but since he had a valid ticket, Dana allowed him to stay, under supervision. What he didn't expect was how many Dagestani fighters and friends were seated nearby, especially after Islam Makhachev's main event win. Dana said that the moment he heard the commotion, he knew exactly what had happened. Too many of the wrong people were sitting too close together. By the time security dragged Danis out and calmed the situation, UFC staff asked if they should press charges. Dana declined, saying that while emotions ran hot, this is the fight business. Tensions explode. However, he made one thing clear. Danis will not be allowed back at future UFC events.
Brawl broke out with Dillon Danis and the member of Khabib's team and stuff. Can you just tell us how disappointed you were to see that and any insight into the fallout?
I blame myself for that, actually. They came back and told me right before I walked out for the main card that Dillon Danis was here and he was moving around sitting in fighter seats and not sitting in his own seat that he had. He had a ticket. And they said, do you want us to throw him out of here? And I said, he has a ticket? And I said, yeah. And, you know, they told me, they said, Masvidal said he's going to fuck him up on sight. And I said, well, where's Masvidal sitting? He said, well, he's 6 or 7 rows away from Masvidal. I said, well, if the guy has a ticket, let him sit in his seat and let him do what he's doing and keep an eye on him. It never even crossed my mind, as stupid as this could be, that the entire Muslim Brotherhood was here tonight in the first 5 rows for Islam. And as soon as it broke out, I was over on the other side and I go, fuck, I know exactly what that is. I knew it. And yeah, you will never see Dillon Danis at a UFC fight ever again.
While the chaos unfolded in the crowd, the action inside the octagon didn't slow down. After the main event, Ilia Topuria stirred fresh controversy. Even though many fans praised Islam Makhachev's dominant performance, Topuria wasn't impressed. He blasted Jack Della Maddalena for looking completely unprepared against a high-level wrestler like Islam. saying Jack needs an entire training camp dedicated solely to grappling. But he didn't stop there. He also took a swipe at Makhachev himself, claiming that despite all his skill, he lacks a natural emotional spark, something you can't develop in any gym.
I don't know if you saw his tweet. He said you're like the most boring fighter in the UFC or something like that. I know you said to ask you about him after the fight at Media Day. Can you give us your full thoughts on a fight with him now?
No injury, nothing. I don't feel any pains. I'm ready. Who is gonna be next? Let's do this, and I will make it easy. And today I show you, Jake's one of the best in this game, one of the hardest opponent. That's why I prepare so hard to make this easy. And this is our plan. And I did exactly. He defends. I try to do some chokes, try to make Kimura, but he defends very well. But I make this easy because I training so hard.
Now, Islam Makhachev's future looks both uncertain and exciting. Both he and Ilia Topuria vacated their original titles after moving up in weight, and each captured new belts in their higher divisions. Makhachev dominated Jack Della Maddalena at welterweight, while Topuria claimed the lightweight title by defeating Charles Oliveira after Islam moved up. With both now at the top of different divisions, fans are already buzzing about the possibility of a future clash between them. But Topuria wasn't the only one speaking out. Shavkat Rakhmonov, still undefeated and ranked third at welterweight, congratulated Makhachev on his win but warned that the real challenge at 170 pounds still awaits. During the same press conference, Dana White was asked about the upcoming UFC event at the White House. He clarified that it won't be a USA versus the World card, despite being planned for Independence Day. His main goal is simply to assemble the best fights possible. When asked if Makhachev might headline, Dana didn't rule it out. In fact, he hinted that depending on Islam's next moves, he could start entering the conversation as one of the greatest of all time. And with contenders like Rakhmonov lining up, that kind of legacy may not be far off.
I'm getting the sense we're going to hear the words White House quite a lot from fighters over the next few months. Islam is already calling for that. Could Islam end up on the White House?
It's a possibility. We're talking about GOAT talk here, depending on what he does in his next couple of fights.
Does it have to be America versus the world themed and stuff like that? Would you be happy putting a non-American main event
That's
up?
not America versus the world. What's the best card?
The women's co-main event added another highlight to Valentina Shevchenko's incredible career. Her size advantage over Zhang was clear from the very first grappling exchanges. Zhang landed a few clean shots early, but Shevchenko quickly took control, dropping her opponent and dominating on the mat in the first round. That takedown marked Valentina's 60th career takedown, a milestone that speaks to her longevity at the elite level. The rest of the fight followed a similar rhythm. Zhang kept fighting back with kicks and combinations to create distance, but Shevchenko's strength and ground control made it extremely difficult. Even when she couldn't land heavy ground strikes, her relentless pressure and positioning kept her comfortably ahead on the scorecards. By round 4, Valentina looked more relaxed and began mixing up her striking again. Earlier in the night, the welterweight division saw another standout moment when Michael Morales stopped Sean Brady in the first round. Ranked 8th, Morales proved he's ready to challenge the top contenders. His sharp punches rocked Brady early, and relentless pressure led to a TKO finish. The win boosted Morales' record to 19-0 and had fans speculating how soon he could get a title shot. He even called out Dana White directly, demanding a chance at the belt, and based on that performance, it could come sooner than expected. Then came the night's biggest shock. Carlos Pereira knocked out Leon Edwards. Edwards started strong, showcasing clean technique and even threatening a submission by taking Pereira's back in the first round. But in round 2, Pereira began mind games,